Good morning, my dear children. Hope you all are staying safe. So here, as the country faces a very dangerous situation, so we thought of doing online learning session. So here today I am going to give you an idea about if conditional clause. So that is if conditional clause you learn at the end of the grade 10, and also it continues up to grade 11. So here and again this will help you for your examination as well as for your whole life. So we'll see what this if conditional clause is. You all know, Putala, you know what an if clause is. It is come under complex sentences, right? So we know in a complex sentence we have two clauses, main clause and the subordinate clause. So here if is a conditional clause. Why do we say it's a conditional clause? Now look at the screen. In the screen you can see they are used to, this if conditional clauses are used to express that the action in the main clause can take place if a certain condition is fulfilled. So there we get an idea. So if clause is something needed to complete the sentence, complete the main clause. So without completing this if clause, the main clause won't be a complete sentence. Understand all of you now, right? So here they are used to express that the action in the main clause can take place if a certain action is fulfilled. Conditional sentences consist of a main clause and a conditional clause. There are three types of conditional clauses. Right, now remember that this will help you at the examination in an activity where you come across to write the correct form of the verb, and again in a clause passage, and again in the first paper you may have to identify errors in sentences. So there are such activities to get it corrected. So you may need the knowledge of if conditional clause. So there are three types of conditional clauses. We call it type 1, type 2 and type 3. So the grammar rule is very much important, Putala. So we'll go to, so here we call type 1 is probable situation, possible situation. If the if clause, if conditional clause completes, then the main clause, the action in the main clause can be completed. As an example, if I say, now you are facing your O-level examination in this January, next January. So there we can say, if we study hard, we will get through the G.C.E O-level examination with flying colors. So if you study hard, the condition is study hard. If you study hard, you will get good results in the G.C.E O-level examination. So the condition is studying hard. Then the result is getting through the examination. So we call that type 1 possible situation. I feel that you understand that. Then I will come later after introducing all three types, one by one will come. Then the second type we call, that is sometimes it is possible but it is unlikely to happen. And again imaginary situation. Right there we always, there are grammar rules, so we have to learn. So the second type we get and we use it in the unlikely situation or the imaginary situation. And then the last one we call the conditional if condition type 3. It is impossible situation as we talk about the past events. So there are three types of if conditional clause. Type 1 is possible situation or the probable situation. Then the second type we call the imaginary or very unlikely situation, and the third type we call impossible or improbable situation. So these are the three types that we are going to learn today as the grammar lesson. Okay, shall we go to the next slide? So here we learn about the if clause type 1. So can you see the grammar rule there? The if clause, the grammar rule is very much important, Pute. You have to get it done, because your competence is tested with the test paper. So there you have to obey the grammar rule, or else you don't get your mark, right? So here in the grammar rule is if conditional clause is in simple present tense and the main clause should be in simple future. Remember that if clause should be in simple present tense and the main clause should be in simple future, or again with can also it can be replaced. Okay, then an example is given here, Pute. If we study hard, we will pass the examination with flying colors. So the condition is if we study hard. So can you see the if conditional clause in the initial part of the sentence? Okay, with a comma we start the main clause, right? So I have underlined the verb. So if conditional clause is in the simple present tense, that is study, if we study hard, then the main clause we will pass the examination with flying colors. You know flying colors is a very good results, outstanding performances. Okay, then the second example, if I find her address, I can send her an invitation. So there I have used Pute can, right, the model. So again, if I find the conditional clause is in simple present tense and the main clause has used can plus the basic form of the verb, infinitive, right, can send. Okay, now I feel that you have understood. Okay, then we'll go to the next slide, that is if conditional clause type 2, right? So I feel that you can build up some sentences easily with type 1. So here this is type 2. You have to be very careful about this, Pute, because there is some exceptional case here, right? So the grammar rule is if clause should be in the simple past tense and the main clause should be with would plus infinitive or could, right? Here there is a mistake done there. It should become here would or could plus infinitive. Okay, right? An example is given there. If I were a bird, I would fly throughout the world. I told you this is done. This is used in imaginary situations. So there it is very clearly understood. We can't never be a bird. So there. Here if I were a bird, so there can you see I have used the verb, the simple past tense, the be verb, I have used were, if I were a bird. So in imaginary situation, remember Putala, this is very important. Even though the subject, now this is I is an exceptional case, we always take this as a plural, we always keep plural verb with I, but even such an imaginary situation, even for a singular subject, we have to keep the plural verb. If he were a bird, if she were a bird, right, then I would fly throughout the world. So there this is an exceptional case. And the second example here I have given, if I found her address, I would, the same example I have taken from the type 1. If I found her address, I would send her an invitation. So I have underlined the verbs if conditional clause, simple past tense found. If I found her address, I would send her an invitation, right? So if I were a bird, I would fly throughout the world. So the first one, it is an imaginary situation. Second one, it is an unlikely situation. If I found her address, I would send her an invitation. Okay, so I hope that it is clear for you all. Then we'll go to the conditional clause type 3. Here we call the type 3 is impossible situation or improbable situation, because here we are talking about the past tense, the past activities that we have done. The easiest one that you can remember is, just imagine that your results has been released. Now you are in 2021, the month of April or May. So there, if you are not satisfied with your results, right? Now if you are not satisfied with your results, you can easily say here, if I had studied hard, I would have got through the G.C.E O-level examination with better results. Now now nothing to be done. The results has been released. Now I hope that you understand this. So because this is due to about the past activity, so there is nothing to be done. Only we can regret saying, if I had studied hard, I would have got through the G.C.E O-level examination with better results. So this is the easiest way that you can remember this type of conditional clause, Putala. So the second one I have used here, if I had found her address, I would have sent her an invitation. If I had found the past perfect tense, then I would have sent her an invitation. I would have sent. So the grammar rule, very easily you can understand, Putala. If clause should be past perfect tense. So what is past perfect tense, Putte? Had plus past participle. So there you can see had studied. Had plus past participle. Participle form of study is studied. I hope that you understood. And then here would have plus past participle, would have got. This is a phrasal verb, I have underlined the whole thing. I would have got through. Here I would have sent. And again it can be replaced with I could have. Either would or could, both can be used, plus have plus past participle. I hope that you have understood this easily, right? If I had studied, the first one, if I had studied hard, I would have got through the G.C.E O-level examination with better results. So now you can't, because now the results has already been released. Now you have got your results, but now you regret about your results. Nothing to be done. Only remaining thing is, for this year, for the next year you have to get ready. But for the past things that you can't do. So they are that is why the type 3, if conditional clause type 3 we call impossible or improbable situation. Always we discuss the instances about impossible things or improbable things, because it is whole due to as a whole we discuss about the past actions. That is why grammar rule, if clause is in past perfect tense, and again the main clause is in would plus have plus past participle, or could plus have plus past participle. I hope now you are clear with all three types and again the grammar rules. So shall we go to the activities, right? So there is an activity I have given you. See, it is very easy because the verb is also given to you. Only thing is, and again the whole 5 sentences are about the first type of if conditional clause. So it is very easy for you, because to practice you to be familiar with the first type of conditional clause, I have given this. Now see, the if clause is in the initial position, and remember, if you feel and again it is possible to use if clause even at the end part of the sentence also. Okay, so we'll go to the first sentence. If it rains, now you can see a comma also, so that is where the clause ends, then the main clause begins. Is it clear for you all? So if it rains, you blank wet. So there it is easily understood. Rains, the verb rain says it is in simple present tense. So it is type 1 conditional clause, so you will get wet. So the sentence should be, if it rains, it will, if it rains, you will get wet. So the second one, if you don't hurry, you blank the bus. Even the verb is also given, miss. And type 1 if conditional clause, it is very easy for you all. If you don't hurry, it should be, what is the answer? You will miss the bus. ඉක්මන් උනේ නැත්තම් බස් එක මිස් වේවි. Right? You will miss the bus. Shall we go to the third one, පුතේ? So third one is, if I blank time, I'll finish that later. So then you are to fill in the blank in the if conditional clause. So if conditional clause should be, this is type 1. So conditional clause should be in simple present tense. So the subject is I, if I have time. Right? If I have time, I'll finish that letter. Okay? Then shall we go to the fourth one? If you blank, drop within brackets the glass, it will break. If you, what should be? You, we always consider as a plural form. So if you drop the glass, it will break. So the contracted form is used in the main clause, right? Then the last one, if you blank within brackets leave, I'll call the police. So it should be a sensible sentence, Pute. Then we can use the negative form of the verb. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Right? Usually that is the sentence must be like that. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. මෙතනින් පිටත් දුන්නේ නැත්තම් මම පොලිසියට කතා කරනවා. Right? So if you don't, D-O-N apostrophe T. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Okay. Then we'll go to the another activity. Right? Putala, the second activity is about the second type of the conditional clause. So for you to be familiar with, that is why I have prepared you 3 separate activities for 3 conditional clauses. Right? Then the second one. Now fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verbs given within brackets. Again, very easy for you all, because the verb is also given, the blank is given. So you are to write the correct form of the verb. Right? So the first one is, if I blank a lottery, I would buy a nice car. So here I would buy, so again I told you this is about the second type of the conditional clause, if conditional clause. So there it should be, the answer should be, if I won, W-O-N, the past tense of win is won. So if I won a lottery, I would buy a nice car. Right? So I told you the second type is used to express unlikely situation or imaginary situation. So this is a very good example for that. Then the second one, if I lived in China, right? I blank, within brackets the verb is given as eat my food with chopsticks. So there what should be? if I lived in China, so lived suggests it should be if conditional clause type 2. So if I lived in China, I would eat my food with chopsticks. Right, it is clear for you all. Then we'll come to third one, if I blank. So the if conditional clause has the blank now. So if I blank, to moon, within brackets the verb is given as go, I wouldn't breathe easily. So what should be the answer, Pute? If I went to moon. If I went to moon, I wouldn't breathe easily. Okay, then the fourth one. If I saw an alien. If I saw an alien, so this is also a very unlikely situation, right? All 3, 4, right? If I saw an alien, I blank, run away quickly. So what should be in the blank? If I saw, it says the conditional clause type 2 with the simple past tense, then it should be with would plus the infinitive, right? So I would run away quickly. Then the last one, Putala, if I didn't practice well, I blank, play the piano very well. Sorry, it should be here, this is a mistake, it should be W-E-L-L. Right, so if I didn't practice well, I would play the piano very well. Right? If I didn't practice well, so there will take the negative form. So here it says very well. If I didn't practice well, I would not play the piano very well. Here this is negative form. So it is well understood, Pute. If I didn't practice well, right? Mama puhunu une nattang. Hondata puhunu nattang. I would not play the piano very well. Right? I would not play the piano very well. Okay, then we'll come to the third one. Now this is about the third type of if conditional clause. Right? So here you may see here, if I hadn't eaten. So this is the negative form of past perfect tense. Had not has been contracted as hadn't. If I hadn't eaten fast food, so here you see the participle form eaten, fast food, you know that is junk food. Then if I hadn't eaten, so I would not have got fat. Mama fast food අර ක්ෂණික ආහාර කෑවේ නැත්තම් කාලා තිබුණේ නැත්තම් මට මහත් නොවි ඉන්න තිබුණා. I would not have got fat, or I could not have got fat. Is it clear for you, Putala? Because if clause is with past perfect tense, the negative form of past perfect tense, hadn't eaten, so again the main clause also should be for a sensible, very meaningful sentence. Again it also should be in the negative form. So I would not have got fat. Okay, the contracted form again, I wouldn't have got fat. Then we'll come to the second sentence. If I blank take medicine, I would have fallen sick. So there you are to fill in the blank with the if conditional clause. So the main clause is would have fallen sick. So there then it should be if I had taken medicine, had not taken medicine, because here the main clause is I would have fallen sick. So if I had not taken medicine, I would have fallen sick. I feel that you can understand this, right? If I hadn't taken medicine, I would have fallen sick. Then the third one, if we had played well, here there should be a comma pute. If we had played well, we would have lost the game. We would not have lost the game, right? If we had played well, අපි හොඳට සෙල්ලම් කළා නම් එහෙනම් අපිට ගේම් එක මේ පරාද නොවි ඉන්න තිබුණා. We would not have, or we could not have lost the game. Okay, the negative form. If we had played well, we would not have lost the game. Okay, then the fourth one, Pute. If I blank, within brackets forget, the ATM card, again there should be a comma, I would not have withdrawn money from the bank. So you know what an ATM card is. So if I, had forgotten the ATM card, I would not have withdrawn money from the bank. Right? Forget, you know, amataka karanawa. So if I had forgotten, right? If I had forgotten the ATM card, there should be a comma, putala. I would not have withdrawn money from the bank. Then the last one, if I blank study hard, I would not have got through the exam well. So what is that? If I blank study hard. So the main clause is, I would not have got through the exam well. So what should be in the main clause? Is it the positive way or the negative way? If I had not studied or if I had studied? If I had not studied hard, I would have got through the exam. Sorry, if I had studied hard, I would have got through the exam well. It should be in the positive way. If I had studied hard, mama mahansi vela wada kala nam, I would have got through the exam well. So here, with these three exercises, I feel you got many ideas. You got a very thorough knowledge of if conditional clause. So here I have given you again, if you see this board, here Pute, you can see an activity. I have given you 5 sentences. Right? Now you are familiar with all 3 types of if conditional clause. Now this is a mixed activity. So again, and it is little complex because so all the other activities you got just to fill in a blank. But here I have given you one clause. First of all, you have to identify what type of if clause is being given. Either with the main clause or the if clause, you can identify the type of if clause, and then you have to build up the other clause. Either the if clause or the main clause should be built up by you. Right? See whether you can do this, Pute. Right now, first one is if we obey our parents and teachers, comma, then the blank is given. So the blank should be here. Now it is very clear, Pute, if clause is given. If we obey. So the if clause is in simple present tense. So it is easily understood. If clause is in simple present tense, then the main clause should be in simple future. So with using simple future as the verb form, you are to build up the main clause. Can you give me an example for this? If we obey our parents and teachers, අපි අපේ දෙමව්පියන්ට ගුරුවරුන්ට කීකරු වුණොතින්. So what can I will give you an example. Please write your own example using simple future. If we obey our parents and teachers, we will be able to be good citizens for the country. We will be good citizens in Sri Lanka. Right? If we obey our parents and teachers, our future will be clear. Right? Or our future will be very fortunate. Like that, using simple future, you can build up a sentence. So shall we go to the second sentence? If they had practiced hard. Again, if clause is given, and it is very clear with, now I am underlining the verb, so it is had practiced, so it shows the past perfect tense. So what is the type of if conditional clause here? It is very clear. If the past perfect is there in the if conditional clause, then it should be if type 3. Okay, so then the main clause should be either with would plus have plus past participle or could plus have plus past participle. Then I will give you an example. If they had practiced hard, what can we say? If they had practiced hard, they could have easily won the game or easily won the match, right? Or they could have easily got the championship, like that, right? Then we'll come to the third one. So here it is blank is given initially, and then she would help the poor. So the poor, here it means the poor people. She would help. So with would plus infinitive, it is clearly understood it should be if type 2. So the if clause should be written by us. What can we write, Putala? If she won a lottery, she would help the poor. The if clause should be with the simple past tense. If she won a lottery, she would help the poor. Right? That is unlikely situation. Okay? Then we'll come to the fourth. And again put here the poor, it is understood with this the article. We don't want to write people. The poor means the poor people. Okay? Then number 4 will go if all the people followed safety precautions. Right? If all the people followed. Here it says simple past tense. So if all the people followed safety precautions, though the followed is in simple past tense, so it is understood this should be in if conditional clause type 2. Right? Then the main clause should be with would plus infinitive. Then if all the people followed safety precautions, we would be safe with COVID-19. Right? If all the people followed safety precautions, the government would not impose curfew. Right? Then the last one, Putala, the blank is given at the initial position. We will be able to eradicate COVID-19 very soon. Right? Relevant to the situation in the country. Right? Now here there should be a comma. Right? So then we will be able to, here it is simple present tense. So it should be in the if conditional clause type 1. We will be able to eradicate COVID-19 very soon. What can we do? It should be in the simple present tense. If we follow, say from the fourth one also we can take, if we follow the safety precautions, we will be able to eradicate COVID-19 very soon. If we obey the government rules, we will be able to eradicate COVID-19 very soon. Right? Like that. So for the O-level examination, there may be an activity given you one clause and you may have to fill in the rest of the sentence, either with the conditional clause or the main clause. So that type of activity can be in your examination paper, or else fill in the blanks. The correct form of the verb activity can be come, or to identify the errors in sentences also can come across. Okay, then I hope that you have understood the whole lesson. All types of if conditional clause. Then another day we will meet with another activity that is helpful for your G.C.E O-level examination. Thank you, Pute.